Dales. For the last 15 years, this gorgeous landscape has been the canvas that my family's life has been painted on. And whilst so many of our adventures start in the car, our favourite way to explore this gorgeous part of the world is on foot. There is nothing quite like walking the Yorkshire Dales. From its rolling hills to its beautiful forests and picturesque villages. In this series, you're going to join us on 7 wonderful walks. Some we know well, but others are brand new to us. Along the way, we'll take in some breathtaking views, and using my famous map reading skills, we might just learn a thing or two. But where are we going today? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special place. About 6 years ago, I was researching a series that we filmed all about all creatures great and small, which was shot all over these Yorkshire Dales. As I pored over my Ordnance Survey map, I noticed this spot. And when I say this spot, I literally mean this spot. And at the time, I obviously had no idea what this place would look like. I just saw the elevated view and I thought, I bet the Dale would look pretty from up there. So we came, and oh my goodness, we were in for a treat. Now there's many places in the world that I love. Rome, Jervo Abbey in Wensleydale, any shop that sells Lego. But without doubt, this is my favourite place to be in the world. That bench really does have a magnetic pull, whatever the weather. But get up, I have, because what a walk we have in store, if my map is to be believed, because we've never walked this route before. We've been here before, we've sat on that bench, we've tried a little walk here, but the walk I take you on today is completely new to me in this gorgeous dale. Now, where are we? We're back in Arkengarthdale, which was of course the site of our first walk, but we were only on the fringes of the dale, and this place is too stunning for us not to have a proper explore of it. Along the route today, there's grouse butts, sheep folds, mines, and possibly one of the prettiest villages I've ever been to before. So I'm very excited, as I'm sure you can imagine, to get out on the trails today. Let's start walking the Dales. Welcome everyone to Seal Houses Moor, and yes, the hat is on. I don't know if I'm going to need it today, but there's bits of rain, the sun keeps peeking through, so I thought, let's go all Indiana Jones. Now we're climbing up really high in the first part of today's walk. We're getting right up to the top of Arkengarthdale. So the views should be absolutely spectacular, and also I'm really looking forward to hopefully seeing some really interesting moorland birds, and the flowers should be really different to a lot of the ones that we've seen so far on Walking the Dales. Now, we have actually tried to walk up here once before, and it was an absolute disaster. It was not long after we'd found this place, and we came up and we set off on a different walk to here. Actually, it was further down that way. It was a shorter walk, and it just was too boggy. So we had to turn back. You know, we were literally up to our ankles in sort of boggy, wet, horrible stuff, and there's lots of bugs, and we just weren't prepared. So this is the first proper attempt, and I've got to say, it's really hard underfoot. This is really wild country. This landscape is officially bonkers. Now, one of the things I'm particularly excited about seeing today is something I've only seen whizzing past when I've been driving through the Yorkshire Dales in the countryside, and that is a sheepfold. These historic landmarks are all over the Yorkshire Dales, and they're always marked on maps, and I have a feeling I found my first one. It's certainly not boggy today, but my goodness, up here it's quite windy. What's quite cool though is every so often, just have a look at this. That's like a paved road. Well, I mean, it's not a road, but I bet you that that was the tracks that the shepherds used to use coming to and from their sheepfolds. Amazing stuff. That was about the most precipitous fence crossing I've ever undertaken. That log that I was stood on the plank, I'm telling you, at any moment it was going to break. This is without doubt the most wild walk I've done since the last time I was in Scotland. It's crazy stuff. The thing that I love the most about sheepfolds is, in researching this show, I found out that the design just hasn't changed in generations. I found pictures of ones in Israel from like 2,000 years ago that look exactly the same as they do now. It's crazy, isn't it? Now, I don't know about you, but I love Downton Abbey. And speaking of Scotland, do you remember the one where, is it the Highland Holiday or something or other? And they all go off and they go hunting deer, and I think they go on a shoot, they go shooting grouse, don't they? Well, I think, looking at the map, there is some grouse butts just over there. It's certainly getting tested for the wind, folks. There's not supposed to be any wind today. It's crazy. We're actually coming up on a farmhouse. Hope you can hear me okay. The wind is just insane actually at the moment. Thank goodness I have my rather marvellous hat. Now, this farmhouse is all that remains of what used to be a whole host of buildings that would have been up here. Because this was the site of one of the biggest mines in all of Arkengarthdale. This is proper Little House on the Prairie stuff. Well, there is the Little House on the Prairie. Wow, the flowers in this field are just amazing. There's blues and yellows and smells just unbelievable. It's like a feast on the senses. And grasses as well that remind me totally of my childhood. It's wonderful stuff. This is Peatmore Rig, and that's a word you'll see an awful lot in the Yorkshire Dales, rig, but it's one that's more commonly used and seen actually in Scotland. Now, how did it get its name? Probably because once this field was farmed using the ridge and furrow method. Now we're coming off the moor now, thank goodness. It's going to be a bit easier underfoot, I'm hoping. We'll pick up some roads to walk on. And we're actually going to look for Arkle Beck. We actually mentioned that in episode 1 because that's the waterway that gives Arkengarthdale its name. We have our first cows of the series. Look, there's one. I think he wants to be a star. Oh no, he stopped. Or maybe it's a she. Now we are of course in search of Arkle Beck, which I'm told is at the end of this path, but I think we've got one more farmyard to walk through before we get there. Let's see what we can see. I can hear the beck. My goodness, it sounds more like a waterfall actually. It's amazing. We have had a lot of rain though. I've got to say I'm thrilled to be back on roads. I've definitely served my time today on the moorland. But I'm told down here if we take just a short detour off the path, we'll find a lovely bridge. There was a little bridge. Oh my goodness. It's gone. Wow. That just tells you the amount of water we've had, doesn't it? Look at that. But that's okay, it was only a minor detour anyway, and I've come off the path to find it, so I'm now going to find my way back onto the path that we've come off. I mean, that must have been a torrent of water that's blown that bridge out. Wow. Thankfully, most of that's gone now, but it's probably, oh, crumbs, a month or two ago. It was terrible. It was raining and raining and raining. And I'm guessing that's what's led to the end of that poor little bridge. Back onto the road we go, and we're now going to start making our way down to a village I have actually visited once before, and it was just gorgeous. It's called Waw. I think that's how you pronounce it, W-H-A-W. Just cross over Arkle Beck. First time we've properly seen it, or no, that'll be a tributary of Arkle Beck. Hilltop Farm. Unbelievable. It's very true, it is a hilltop farm, but it's not the hilltop farm. That is, of course, the home of Beatrix Potter, and that is in the Lake District. And we're not in the Lake District, this is most definitely the Yorkshire Dales. I've never seen, I'm sure these are foxgloves. Of course, I'll be wrong now. We'll have it right on the screen for you, and I think you've probably already seen them. But I'm sure we used to grow these in our garden when I was young, and I've never ever seen them in the wild before. They're beautiful, aren't they? And they are literally everywhere. My goodness. Growing out of the side of what will be the leftovers, and it's, I mean, they've even made the walls with it that are fencing off the fields. And look, they're underneath the trees too. And look, there's one here. This is just a beautiful road. It really is. I've never been on this before in my life. And it is the epitome, really, of what you would imagine the Yorkshire Dales to be. Birds flying past, trees rustling. It's gorgeous. So we're following the course of Arkle Beck now, and the beck, it doesn't sound like much, does it? It sounds like less than a stream, or it certainly always did to me, but you couldn't be more wrong. People actually canoe down it, which I think is just fascinating. I'll tell you something. Llamas? I didn't expect to see that in the Yorkshire Dales. Oh no! I wouldn't fancy canoeing down Arkle Beck, thanks very much. And it's amazing, isn't it, to think that Arkle, he must have been quite the guy to think that they named a beck after him, and there it is actually. I mean, a Viking raider, but you know, you wonder if he was like super evil or if he was like really good and that's how he got his name. I think I see war on the horizon. So as we leave war behind us, and what an amazing place, that obviously would have been the home to miners in years gone by. Now I think there's holiday rentals there and all sorts, but the atmosphere is just unbelievable here. It's totally different to up the top. It's much easier underfoot as well, which I'm very happy about. And that bridge that you've just seen, it had its moment of fame because it was used in the very first series of All Creatures Great and Small. I think James Herriot brought his bride-to-be here and they broke down, and there's a famous picture of them in front of the bridge, I think, as I just get through this next lovely little gate. But, you know, just like the miners, the TV cameras have gone, and now all that's left is really you and me some absolutely amazing wildlife and flowers, and it's stunning. And you know, every sort of direction that you look in is like a feast for the eyes. Now, before me is an area of special scientific interest. This is an area of meadow, and it's been unchanged for generations. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever been anywhere quite like this. It has an atmosphere unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I think what it comes down to is this was a worked landscape for thousands of years. And the jobs that were here brought families and incomes and shops and churches and homes. But now that's all gone. And I think because of that, there is a sort of feeling of emptiness. I can't help but think that the final story of this dale is what we're experiencing now. I'm convinced that there's more to the story. This is just but a chapter. And I think when you look on it in that way, this can suddenly feel like a moment of calm and a moment of absolute beauty. Because I've honestly never been on a walk with such contrasts, from the crazy moorland, boggy, totally ludicrous stuff up the top of the dale, right the way down here to walking along the banks of Arkle Beck. And I couldn't really think of a more perfect place to stop, because would you believe it? I can see my car and our journey is nearly over. But what a journey we've had! What a walk, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad we've got back here for a proper explore. This, for me, is the real Yorkshire Dales. It's a little bit wild, it's a little bit rugged, it's lived in, but my goodness, it's full of history and it's just beautiful. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for more Walking the Dales.